Hi guys, it's Marnie and today I want to talk about some series / books that I DNF'd, which is did not finish. And these aren't all series that I didn't finish and will never finish. A lot of these I do plan on getting around to, and I just want to talk about why I didn't finish them, if I'm going to finish them, what they're about. I'll go into a little synopsis on what they're about without giving too much away, obviously, without spoiling anything for you. But yeah, I'm going to go from ones I'm least excited to get to, least excited to finish, probably won't finish, all the way down to the ones that I'm 100% going to finish. The series that I never want to say never, but the series I don't plan on finishing like anytime soon. It's not even on my radar. It's not even anywhere on my list. Like, I think I'm going to keep them and they're going to be on my shelves for ages, and maybe one day I'll get around to them, but honestly I'm not sure if I will. And that is the Fallen series by Lauren Kate. Now, this series wasn't bad, it's not that at all. It's just I read the first book and then I went away from it and thought I'll go back to it and I'll read the rest, and then just never did. And then my TBR piled up and there's all these series I got to and they just kind of were forgotten. And there's still so many books that I would want to read over them. Like, there's never going to be a point in my life, I don't think, where I think, oh yeah, I'm going to read these. There's always going to be a series or a book that I'm going to prefer or rather pick up over these. So that's kind of why I haven't read them and why I don't think I ever will. So the first book follows a girl called Luce. Oh my god, it is Luce. I thought I got it wrong then. It's been a while since I read this book, but the first book follows a girl called Luce, and there's been a fire and someone she knows died, and she has been accused of setting the fire and harming / killing this boy. So she's taken and put into this like delinquent boarding school, kind of like juvie situation. She's been put into this school where she meets Daniel, and it's kind of like an instant connection as soon as they see each other, and she feels like although she's only just met him, she feels like she's known him forever. It's one of those moments where they meet and they feel like they've known each other forever, but they know that can't be possible. And it turns out that they're the school full of fallen angels, and Luce and Daniel are lovers in past lives and to meet and fall in love, but every time they kiss, Luce dies and Daniel has to live on, not moving on with his life until Luce is born again and grows old, and then they finally meet and fall in love and kiss, and she dies. Horrible cycle that he's stuck in and she's stuck in but doesn't know it. Every time she's born she doesn't remember him and doesn't know him, and he's stuck with the trauma of having to watch his true love die every lifetime. And this lifetime he refuses to let it happen. He's adamant he's not gonna let her kiss him, he's not gonna fall in love, so he hides, and the world draws them together and he can't believe that she's actually here. And it's this whole journey of her like discovering that and them coming together. There is actually a movie of it now on Netflix. It's a budget movie, so it's very, very low budget, but it's worth a watch maybe if you've read the book and you just want to kind of see its like visual representation. I think it was okay. Like, as I said, it's a very budget movie, you're not going to expect too much of it. It was good for what it was. Like, I liked it just because I've read the book, and sometimes I like to see the movie adaptation just to see the differences and to see how someone's vision has brought this book to life and what they got from the book and put into the film. But that's the first series that I'm probably never going to finish. The second series I probably won't finish. Might finish, but again, same as Fallen, I'm probably more likely to pick these up over Fallen, which is why I've put them here. But again, I probably don't think I'm ever going to finish them. That is the House of Night series by PC and Kristen Cast. Now, these aren't bad books again, like the storyline's amazing. I've read, I don't know how many books there are, but I think I've read like 4 or 5. Like, I read quite a few of them. I read them all one after the other. I binged them, and that's my problem. I binge too much stuff and then I get sick of it and I will move on and then say I'll go back, and then by the time I go back I've forgotten or lost interest, or there's other things that I'm wanting to pick up. I feel like I need to pace myself with books and stop trying to binge them and read them in between stuff, so it's not like a big full-on binge fest, I suppose. So this book follows a girl called Zoe who's living her normal life, going to school with her friends, her family, living her life, until one day she's marked by a tracker with a half moon crescent on her shoulder, and that means that she is a daughter of night, and she is basically turning into a vampire. So she has to leave her life, her friends, her family all behind, and go to school in the House of Night, which is like this boarding school for vampires. And she's there discovering all of her abilities and what she's made of, and learning just how to be a vampire and what that entails, meeting new friends. She is special. Obviously there's that trope that she's like the special one, the gifted one. She's actually able to manipulate all the different elements. So there's fire, air, water and spirit, I think. And she's able to control them all, and she's in the favour of like the goddess that they all worship, and there's this whole big storyline there, and I did really enjoy it. Like, these books are really good, and the more I'm talking about them now, actually, the more I'm thinking I probably might pick them up sometime soon. I'll have to refresh my memory, because as I'm talking about it, I'm remembering what happens in the later books that I don't want to spoil for you, but I'm just remembering things that happen. I think maybe I might finish them. And if you think these are worth reading, the same with Fallen and the same with any of the series I mentioned, if you think I should definitely read them and they're like one of your all-time faves and you just love them and you think, why did you stop reading them, you have to go and read them, definitely tell me in the comments. That might persuade me more to reading them in the future. You never know, so definitely drop a comment if you think I should carry on with certain series. And the third series on the list is the Star-Crossed series by Josephine Angelini. And these books, again, they're not bad at all. I really enjoyed them. They're that trope of like star-crossed lovers and destined to be together but destined not to be together and all that kind of good stuff. So I did really enjoy these. I read the first two and then I was waiting to pick up the second one and the third one, sorry. And then when I did get around to picking up the third one, it'd been a while since I read them and it was kind of out of my reach a little bit. I was reading some other stuff and then I've just not got around to reading the third one, so this is one I'm more likely to pick up, knowing that it's just one final book. So this book follows a girl called Helen who's shy and a little bit awkward, and when she meets Daniel for the first time, the first thing that goes through her head is he is the most beautiful, handsome boy she's ever seen, but she also wants to kill him with her bare hands. And it turns out that they are destined to kill each other. There's an ancient curse that means Helen and Lucas are destined to loathe each other, but love overcomes all that sometimes. And it's just about their journey, meeting each other, falling in love, discovering powers. There is that supernatural like power element in this, which is really cool. It's just a really good like trilogy, maybe if you're into something short but you want something a little bit longer than just one book. This is a series I'm more likely to pick up over the others. Now the fourth series I'm likely to pick up or not really pick up. I'm not really sure. I didn't know where to place these and I'll tell you why in a minute. But that is the Dimly series by Estelle Mascom. So that's Did I Mention I Love You? And I've had a hard time with these books. So they were recommended to me by Love You Like Laura. I've mentioned her before. I will link her channel in my description. She's basically just a booktuber that loves romance, and everything that she recommended and I read, I loved. And she's a fan of all the books I love, and the things she didn't quite like, I didn't like. So I was like 100% sure I was going to absolutely love these. And I love the like forbidden slash not supposed to be slash taboo kind of romances. So the whole stepbrother, I'll go into it a bit more, but like stepbrother and stepsister like relationship really kind of enticed me with these books. Like I read Stepbrother Dearest by Penelope Ward, which is like one of my all-time favourites, and I went into this really excited and I just couldn't finish the first book. I got so far into it and then just gave up. I was like, I just can't do it. And then a little while later I saw other people talk about it, and I know the fans, like the really hardcore fans, love this series, and I know they want it made into like a film or a TV show like one of the other books I'm going to mention soon. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to give it another go. I don't think I was in the right mindset. I found the second book in a charity shop and brought it and thought, you know what, I'm getting it, I'm going to give these books another go. I got to pretty much the exact same place as I got the time before. There's my bookmark in here. So I got to chapter 22 and I couldn't get much further than that. I feel like the whole relationship, the whole thing is a bit rushed in this book. The way the author wrote their like, kind of relationship was grated on me a little bit. Like, obviously at the beginning there's nothing romantic, there's nothing like that, and then all of a sudden this one thing happens. There's not really been any indication or build up or anything, and then you're probably just over halfway through the book, this thing happens, and then all of a sudden they're sneaking off to meet each other, and they're doing it in secret, and they've got to keep it a secret from everyone, and it just felt really out of place for me. Like, I didn't enjoy it as much as I really wanted to, but hopefully it gets better. I'm going to try and finish this book at least and then see what I think, and not just judge it up to where I am. I feel like I do need to finish the book to give it like a real chance. So this book follows a girl called Eden who decides she is going to spend the summer with her estranged father, who she's never met, down on California beachfront, and she turns up there expecting her stepbrothers to be young and think nothing of it, but she gets there and her stepbrother Tyler is hot. So he's like really good looking, he's her age or a little bit older, he's like a bad boy, he smokes and he has tattoos and he's all that kind of cliche, but like in the best ways. He's got a quick temper and a bigger ego, and she is the complete opposite, and she finds herself like thrust into this world of Tyler and his friends and living there for the summer with all of these new experiences and all that kind of stuff. So it just follows them on their journey of being young and falling in love and just all that kind of stuff. So it definitely is a book that I would love. Like, I'm 12 at heart and I love all of that stuff. I want to like it. I want to like it so bad. The 5th series I plan on finishing, and this is a series I definitely plan on finishing, is After by Anna Todd. Now, there's some controversy with this book. People hate it, people love it. So you're all entitled to your own opinions, but please don't come at me in the comments for liking this book. I read it years ago as a Harry Styles / One Direction fanfiction on Wattpad. And I know a lot of us fans did, a lot of people read it from there at the beginning. But I read the first 2 books, I think, on Wattpad, and then kind of got out of Wattpad before like the more were brought out. Like, I didn't follow it all as Anna was posting, and as that I think I was a little bit late to it. There were 2 books out when I found After, and I read both of them straight off the bat, like, and fell in love with them, and I loved the whole, obviously I was like 14, 15, so I was like obsessed with this whole storyline. And I found out a couple of months before they announced that they were making a film that this series was published and made into a real book. I remember seeing it and thinking, like, that rings a bell, that sounds so familiar, and then like I googled it and found out that it was this Wattpad book I read years ago, now made into a real book where they changed Harry Styles into Hardin, and then a couple of months later the movie was announced and everyone went mad. So I read the book and the second book, and I haven't read the rest, so I still haven't read past book 2, and I obviously have seen the film. I was following it the whole time. I'd done drawings and actually entered the competitions that were going on, and I've been following, again, Love You Like Laura's a massive fan of After. She's done like the movie updates and all that kind of stuff. She's still doing them actually. That's a series that I'm 100% definitely going to finish at some point. So this book is a young adult edging into new adult. More, I don't know, it's new adult because there is quite a lot of sexy scenes. It's a bit more mature, but it's also quite young, like it's quite young adult. I read it young. I don't really know what I'd class it as, but it's like a college romance, and it follows a girl called Tessa who is very prim and proper, and her mum has wanted her to go to this college forever, and she's all about getting good grades and being a really good girl. She's never partied, she's never done all that cliche stuff. This book is literally just like a cliche wrapped in a cliche wrapped in a cliche. She goes off to college where she meets Hardin Scott. Hardin Scott is this bad boy, tattoos everywhere, piercings, he has it all, with an English accent. And it just follows her like being in with his friends and them like falling in love and all that stuff. I don't know what else to say. You just need to know that it's a good, like, bordering on cheesy, young, cliche romance about a good girl and a bad boy and a college scene with friends and frat parties and all that kind of stuff. If it's what you're into, it's what you're into. Like, no judgment here. I'm into it, obviously, and yeah, go check it out. Final series that I have not finished. I hate that I haven't finished them, and I'm very, very disappointed in myself, and I'm also very embarrassed to admit I haven't finished the Mortal Instruments series by Cassandra Clare, and I know what you're all thinking, how have I not finished these books? And good question. I don't know what the fuck I'm playing at, honestly. I did skim over this, talk about this a little bit in my Sealy Queen makeup that I just done, where I recreated like the Sealy Queen's look. So if you want to check that out, that will be in the description box as well. But I found this book through the movie. I'm a massive fan of Lily Collins. I definitely was, and the film came out and obviously she played Clary, and I just fell in love. Like I was into fantasy anyway, so it was definitely the right kind of film for me. And then Lily Collins was like the cherry on top, and I just watched it and loved it, and I thought, wow, this is amazing, like I've got to see if the next film's coming out. And I googled it and it said no, the film flopped, no one liked it, not making a sequel. So I was like so gutted, but then at the same time I found out that they were books and there was this massive following and everyone loved them, and I couldn't believe it. So I went out and brought the first couple of books, and they did sit on my shelf for a little while. I'd watched the film so many times, and then when I finally got around to reading them, I think I read the first 3. I think I might have finished 3 and started the 4th one. I'm not even 100% sure, but I got at least 3 books in. And then the show was announced, and the show was coming out, so I kind of stopped reading. I don't know why that would have made me stop reading, but it was about that sort of time that I finished the book or stopped reading, and like said I'll go back to it. And then the show did come out and I was watching the show, and I like constantly watched, like I still watch the film today. Honestly, I love the film and I still do. And it just got quite confusing. Like I couldn't really remember the storylines in the book versus the film versus the show. Obviously they changed stuff, and the show, it has to have its own kind of creative influences, and the people have to have ownership over that. They take the story, they take the source material and they make it their own. And it was just all the different tweaks, people that die in the show that don't die in the books, and the timeline, and just the things that happen that don't happen. And in my head I was just getting a little bit muddled. I couldn't remember which was which, like I couldn't differentiate between them. So I just decided I'm going to finish the show and then go back to the books. The show recently just finished and I loved it. I do love the film a little bit more. I know that's so not a popular opinion. A lot of people really hated the movie and love the show, and I love both. The movie made it just a little bit more because it's what introduced me to the world, and obviously I'm gonna like always have a place in my heart for it, but I do love the show, so there's that as well. But yeah, so these series that I'm 100% gonna finish, like there's not even a question about it. I will not die not having finished this series. It's not even possible. Like, it's just not going to happen. I'm going to read them, and that's the end of it. Maybe not tomorrow because I have so much stuff I want to read, but one day soon I'm finishing this series. And as much as I'm embarrassed and like a bit annoyed at myself for not finishing them, I'm kind of also happy because I am going to go back and read from book 1 all the way through, and I now just have a good chunk of books I can just binge and read. I know I said I should stop binging things, but this is the exception. This is the Mortal Instruments, it's the exception. I have all of these books I can just binge and read, and I'm also really excited to get onto like the Bane Chronicles and Clockwork Angel and just all the other books that Cassandra Clare has brought out within the Shadowhunter universe that I haven't read. And it's just good to know that I have these books that I know I'm going to love. I'm going to love them, no questions asked. Even if I don't love them, I love them. But this book follows a girl called Clary, who's a normal girl going to school, living her life. She's into art, she wants to get into art school, which is something I really related to as well, being an artist kind of. Like I love drawing and all that kind of stuff, the same as her. So it follows her and her living her life until one day on her birthday she goes out to a club and she witnesses a murder. She witnesses a guy and a girl and another guy corner this man and kill him. She screams, obviously, as you would when you see. Hello. Reese. What are you doing? He's just sitting on me. Come on. You want to read it? You read this book, Riz? Hey. But her friends and everyone around her can't see it. They think she's completely insane, and she keeps telling the people she's with, her best friend Simon, that she's like in this murder and there's this whole thing, and she's like, how can you not see it? They're right there, they've just killed this man. And then it's not, and it turns out that they are shadow hunters, half human, half angel, and they are demon hunters, the protectors of like the world against the shadow world, which are things that are like half human, half demon, and demons and all that kind of stuff. And she is one of them, but she doesn't know it, and that's why she's able to see them. How can I get you to read these books? Go read it for yourself, watch the film, watch the show. So they're the series that I wanted to talk about, why I didn't finish them, if I'm going to finish them, and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Definitely let me know if there are series in here you definitely think I should read, and if there are series you've read or you didn't finish. So it's the next day, my camera died and I couldn't film the outro, and I couldn't just leave it where it cut off. So I had to film this little closing, but I hope you enjoyed the video. There's some of the series and books that I DNF'd, which I didn't finish and plan on finishing. Some I don't really plan on finishing, but we'll see what happens. Leave a comment again if you feel there's a series that I definitely need to read. Also leave a comment, tell me what you thought, if you've read them, if you haven't read them, your thoughts and opinions on the series, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye!